what if all the healing work that you have done and what if the healing tools that you have are actually keeping you unhealed? Because being able to manage is not being healed. It not happening again and you not having the same response that you've always had, that's healing.
What if every self help book, every therapy session, every breathwork practice, every healing modality you ever tried was only ever meant to bring you this far? My guest today, Heidi Hazen, is a healing channel, master hypnotist, and the creator of the Soul Forward method, a multidimensional self healing modality she literally channeled into existence. In this conversation, we get into what it actually means to heal at the subconscious level versus just becoming really aware and really good at managing who you are. We talk about outsourcing your authority, what happens when you stop, and the difference between a wound and a curriculum, and why you cannot mindset your way out of something your soul came here to learn. I'm Sasha Pearl, the energy architect, and this is the Have You Met You podcast. Let's get into it. Today we have Heidi Hazen on the podcast. Heidi, thank you so much for being on.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you how excited I am to be here. Wait, I can't find the words.
That's
Can't
what I
find the
that's
words.
what I thought you'd say. Heidi, I would love for you to introduce yourself. What do you do in the world?
Oh, holy smokes. I'm not going to give you the backlog of what I've done in the world. I'm just going to tell you where I'm at right now. Right now, I am functioning fully in my innate gifts as a healing channel. So I channeled an entire healing modality that didn't exist before it came through me. So that's what I've been up to, Sasha, is channeling a healing modality for planet Earth and humanity at such a time as this. So I've been channeling that for 4 years, and I am now the ambassador of that. And I'm quite literally building it. Within the next couple of weeks, it will be ready to go global, which is incredible. So this is fun to be here and announce that. Yeah, doing that and like raising some kids part time because I co-parent across state lines. I just took up jujitsu again. I'm a blue belt, but I got back on those mats, which has felt incredible because my capacity for the last 4 years has been nil outside of being the conduit of Soul Forward Method, which is the modality that I channeled. That's
Amazing.
cool.
So tell me more about it. We haven't talked in a minute, so tell me more about it going global. What efforts have you been putting in there?
So let me tell you what not to do when you, let me just tell you what not to do. Okay, first of all, and I know we're going to get into this, but I'm a 6'3" quad left splenic projector. So that 6'3" just feels like you warrior. Like you have, like you're in it all the time. And one of the ways that I was in it for the last few years was in some piece of curriculum that my soul came here for that I needed to experience, even when it flew in the face of what everyone around me was like, this is a bad idea, Heidi. But if it's a bad idea, I'm like, sign me up. No, I'll do it. Let's do it. I don't want to read about it. I want to experience it. Full stop. So for the
So
last couple of years, I have been in a season of deep curriculum for my soul around overriding my intuition, which is the voice of my soul, and my inner guidance by positioning other people as authority. I was doing this, so I have specific experiences in childhood that I can tie this back to, where I knew something and I looked outside of myself and positioned someone as like the teacher or the authority, or they know the answer. So I'm not going to trust myself. I'm going to outsource this authority to who I believe is the expert. So those were planted seeds when I was 8 years old, 10 years old, 6 years old, and they were up for renewal. They were up for renewal during the Uranus in Taurus years, where it was
rough,
like
rough.
they were rough. They were rough. Um, but I went so deep into that curriculum in order to extract the wisdom that my 6'3" projector needed to extract from that, the curriculum that my soul chose and wrote into the book of my life. I had to go all in on outsourcing my authority. the avenue that I did that in was in my business. My beautiful relationship with a man who's 20 years younger than me, gold. My co-parenting with my ex-husband, gold. Like everything else was gold. And it was like, this was the lane that I needed to be taught in. So I outsourced my authority for uh probably for like 5 years, five
Hmm.
years within my business. And then the last 2 years were the most significant, where I hemorrhaged money. I was like, I was throwing tens of thousands of dollars at people that I thought had the answer. And and then I got more and more desperate to find the answer because I was so upside down with like having a healing modality that could heal the planet and then not having the mechanism or the business that could actually support and sustain it going out to the world. And so I was so desperate that I was throwing money that sometimes I didn't have at these people that I was positioning as an expert. So I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that in November of last year. So that was 6 months ago.
Oh my God, same. Wow, that's insane. Same. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going.
So since then, that was my last lesson was I flew across the country. I was in a container, like not a container, I was in a 3-day mastermind fancy thing. And I was there because I thought, oh, this is where I'm finally going to like meet this person who I've been working with and pedestaling, and she's going to give me some answers. And she sure did, because I said things to her she did not want to hear. And what I learned in that space was where my modality exists in the world of healing and expansion and evolution and self actualization. And so I needed to see where my work fit because I was in a room with people who had their own ways of offering healing. And I saw where theirs leads and where mine leads. And so that was really beautiful. But I had to depedestal everyone. I had to pull myself back because I had gone so far away from home in outsourcing that I had to find my way back. And that was through saying, like, okay, well, we've got to cut the losses here in whatever I've invested and whatever I believed. And I remember, Sasha, I remember cleaning out this credenza that is behind me. And I opened a drawer and it had 5 years worth of printed out PDFs from different courses that I had taken and memberships I had been in. It was tens of thousands of dollars worth of content and someone else's way of doing it, their blueprint, their everything. And I just threw it in the trash.
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
we got a tabula rasa. Like, we have to clean slate this because I have to start walking back home now. I can't walk away anymore from myself. I have to start walking back home. So I've done that. And my assistant has been with me for 4 years. Her last day is in 3 days. She's the last.
What?
Love her. I love her. She has been my ride or die through all of this, all the different platforms I've been on, all the different ups and downs of messaging, marketing, what platform, who do we have? She's been through all of it. And then there was this moment, and it was a complete confirmation that it was like, oh my gosh, our contract together is done, like our soul contract with each other, but also our literal contract. So that ends on Friday. And I am moving everything once again, a huge migration to platforms to host this business, this course, and everything that I am meant to do with it, away from one that I knew from the beginning that I hated. And I spent a year and a half there. And everything is coming home under one roof. So it's going to be there within the next 2 weeks. And at that point, my work on the back end is done. Then I go out to the world because I have the place to send everyone.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot to unpack in this.
Let's get
So,
to unpacking.
let's get to unpacking. We love that. So, just for people who don't really understand the outsourcing versus insourcing, I would love to let's start there because then I think that actually informs what you do with the Soul Forward method, which is this new healing modality that you channeled. So, how would you describe outsourcing versus insourcing, and what feedback can you give to people who are on the constant fucking wheel of outsourcing, 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 money, money, money?
I love it. So I call it self sourcing. And
Oh, wait, love. I love that. Self-sourcing. Okay.
self sourcing, and beneath that is soul sourcing. So your soul has dropped into this super fun human experience and it has all the answers because it wrote the book. It's literally writing the book of your life chapter by chapter based on your free will and what you're doing with your curriculum. What do you do when you're triggered? Who are you avoiding because you don't like that they push your buttons? What's your relationship with your mom or your dad, whether they're on planet Earth or they're off planet Earth? What are the themes and it's all been written in for you. But so there's a thing about outsourcing that's really incredible. A lot of people, probably not the people listening to your podcast, because we're already in the awake world here, right? Like we've got a lot of people listening who are already they're going to find themselves in the second part of what I'm about to say. So the first part is that the majority of humans drop into this experience, start their human experience, and they just walk away from themselves for their entire life without knowing it. It's like, this is life. This is just what happens. These are my patterns. These are the rules that I think that society or my parents or religion or whoever has given me. So this is just what I'm doing. This is just it. Then there are people who all of us walk away from ourselves because that's what we're here for. We forget that we've come here as a soul and we begin to, our life experience, we're a human being until we say, oh, I want to be a different person. I want to have a different name. I want to change something, or I want to see where this pattern comes from. So there are people who start to pause on the journey away from themselves and they just stop and they go, I've seen this rock before. I feel like I'm going in a giant loop. Why am I in this pattern? Why am I still triggered by this? And then they start to remember through listening to books, listening to books, audiobooks, reading books that are paper or on their tablets. They're listening to the podcasts. They're going to therapists. They're leaning into their Enneagram, their strengths finders, their human design, their astrology. They're leaning into plant medicine. They're doing the thing. What are they doing? They're trying to get back home. They're trying to understand the curriculum that they are living out. They might not use those words, but they're trying to understand like their patterns because they don't want to be in it anymore. So there is an element of outsourcing that we have to do. But if you go to a therapist and you say, okay, this is what's going on in my relationship, or this is what's going on with my mom, and that therapist is holding space for you and mirroring back to you, and they've got all these tools to work with your conscious mind and say, well, where do you think that came from? And blah, blah. And you leave and you're like, I'm so much more aware. It's not about my partner, it's about my dad, or whatever it is. That awareness means nothing if you do nothing with it. And that's where self-sorcery comes into play.
Wait, let's pause there because I feel like there's a lot of people who actually do nothing with the awareness. So
Yes.
so you're talking about this part 1 where you're in the self-discovery, you are outsourcing, etc. What are these people feeling internally where they're actually needing to seek this? You're talking about a remembering, but what is that feeling beneath the remembering that actually activates them to move forward with even outsourcing in the beginning?
Yeah. I think that people get sick and tired of the same old, same old. I think that they finally get to a point where they're like, well, fuck it. Like, I've been waiting for this. Sorry, I don't know if you say bad words on this podcast.
Absolutely. Bring it.
I think, I think people get to a point where they're so tired of the same that they finally are like, mercy, just show me what it is. Who can show me what this is? They, it, it's there's a restlessness inside, and that restlessness gets worse. That restlessness gets worse with more awareness. Because awareness is conscious based. Your conscious mind is 5% of your mind, and it is not where the healing happens. Nothing changes within your subconscious if you're conscious. Nothing changes in your nervous system patterning if you're conscious. Your curriculum is stored within your subconscious. It's wired into your nervous system. It's in your emotions, and it's hanging out in your energetic field. So if we're just getting aware, we're bloated with self-awareness. It's what you do with the self-awareness that is actually the thing that will move you into a state of healing. Complete healing is possible, guys. Yes, something that triggers you, it can be healed. Hi, I'm Heidi. modality called soul forward method. We heal triggers in my world. Not so that we can be like, ah, finally, because as soon as you understand why that thing was there, you go, oh, and it's sovereign. There is a
Mm,
humility when you go, oh my gosh, I have been a bag of dicks toward that person for so long because I thought that my perception was this, and then you come through my world and your soul goes, my love, here's the perception. And your soul gives you the perception that is accurate. And you go, and you exit the matrix.
whoa.
So these people are feeling some kind of like, I can't do this anymore.
Mhm. Yeah.
Can't
I
do
feel like
this.
that entire journey that you described of in the beginning of like therapy, podcasts, etc., self-help books, it literally in that exact order for me. And I'm just curious, and which was so helpful, amazing,
Yes.
all the
Yep.
things.
Yes.
For people who are in level one, who are stuck in the awareness, right? Because then it's like first you opened up the threshold. So now you're aware and that you want to go and outsource these different things to get more knowledge. Then you create awareness around it. You're then asked to then open up another threshold, another portal that goes deeper into the subconscious, which is part two of what you're about to talk through. For the people who just stay stuck in part at the end of part one, what do you say to those people? And what is that feeling there at the end of part one?
You have a choice. And the choice is, do you stay as healed or unhealed as you are? Because if you change nothing, I can show you how you can show yourself exactly where you are because you're on a timeline and you match the timeline. If you want to stay in the mud that you are in, that you feel like, well, I wish somebody else would come and get me out of this. If I wish that person would apologize to me and take ownership for how they hurt me or how they betrayed me or how they didn't show up the way I needed to them to show up, there is a choice in being a victim and staying on that timeline, waiting for someone to do something that will actually make you feel better, or taking responsibility and going, okay, well, what is the next thing for me to do? And then go do that thing.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so moving into then part two. Say I have decided to fully heal this. I am aware. I'm choosing to not be in this mud anymore.
Mhm.
Enter Heidi Hazen.
And for Heidi Hazen, yeah. So the beauty of soul forward method, and that's where it's so one of the things, Sasha, when I took full ownership in November and of my business, I took away all of my small offerings because
Oh, on your website.
there is one thing that people want from me. There is one thing that I will be known for, and that is soul forward method. I'm no longer offering like a 2 bite tray pass, which is what everybody's doing, in the entrepreneurial world. And I was like, there's nobody for me to ask, hey, when you channeled a multidimensional self healing modality, how did you position it in your business? There wasn't anybody to ask. So, the beauty of the work that came through me is that I am not the healer. My work makes you your own healer. My work makes your soul your healer. My work is the end of outsourcing your healing to someone else who does not have this kind of access to you. So when someone comes into my world, they have often exhausted. They're like, I am not working with another person. I'm working with someone right now who is extraordinary. And she came to me and she said, I am tired of being a wounded healer. And if you saw her, you wouldn't be like, oh, she's in the healing world. She's not in the healing world. She's not. She's been famous. All the things. She said, I'm so tired of being a wounded healer. And then she said, and I'm tired of working with wounded healers. You feel different. So she said, I vowed that I would never work with someone again, ever. The beauty is that when you come in, it's not me. It's not me. Soul forward method is its own consciousness and it sits and it's its own thing. It doesn't run through my body anymore. It took years and I thought it was going to kill me to bring it through. It now lives right here. And what you get to do is meet your soul. So people who come to me have exhausted those modalities. They're just like, oh, I don't want to read another book. I don't want to get another reading with my, whoever. I I just want it to be done. Like I don't want to manage it anymore. And I don't want to avoid it anymore. But I don't know what else there is because I'm tired of going to therapy. I'm tired of trying to like apply these principles and things from these books. I'm tired of like spending money to go to like Tony Robbins. I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. And I don't want the way that I feel doesn't match the life that I've created on paper. I've checked all the boxes I wanted to check, but it doesn't feel the way I thought it would feel. So now what? Because I don't want 4 more decades of the way that it feels now. Like I thought that it would be more fulfilled. I thought I would feel like I was more at home. So when they come to me, the beauty is, you said this earlier, so grateful that we did the work in the books and the podcasts and the therapy and the different people that we've worked with. Each one of those was a necessary experience for you, because if you were doing it correctly, if you're reading the book, you're taking the concepts and you're applying them to yourself. If you're working with a good therapist or healer or counselor, they're not taking the freaking credit for what they're doing. They're gifted, but they're handing it right back to you. And then you have to do something with it. So they come to me when they've done all of that and they're just like, I don't know what else there is to do. I don't know where to turn. And then they come to my world and I just go, it's right there. And it's the last, I have a trauma therapist who came through. She's been 20 years working with first responders. She's a trauma therapist and she came through. It took her years to get over her like issue, because I would trigger her every time she saw me on Instagram. I would say like, therapy is not a healing modality. Therapy is an awareness and a management modality. It is not a healing modality. It just isn't. It is, we need it, and people need different phases of different things, but there will come a point where you are circling the same altitude on a mountain and you see that there are people higher than you and you don't know how to get there. And my work is the work that allows you to go to the very top of that mountain of yourself, of self-actualization. So this trauma therapist came through my work and she got done and the whole thing blew her hair back. I mean, the whole thing just blew her hair back. I mean, from the very beginning, she was like, I'm going to sit in module 1. I'm going to do it over and over and over again, because what she was meeting was herself. And she got through the work and she said, Heidi, this is the last mile home. This is the last mile home. And you get to walk it in the different areas of your life. And she worked on something very specific when she worked with me, around a relationship that she was told by a whole bunch of different people, healers and psychics and whoever, this relationship can't be healed while both of you are on planet Earth. So you got to wait till they're on the other side. And she said, I want to give this one more chance. And so she came through Soul Forward Method and had a miraculous healing with this person. Like a miraculous healing where that person completely changed, didn't know she was doing the work. That person was a completely different person the next time they saw each other. She said, I will walk this last mile home in all the areas of my life where I'm still not home. Because everybody has a different story. So some of us aren't home in our business because we keep looking for someone outside of ourselves. Some of us aren't home in our finances. Some of us aren't home in our relationship or our relationship to ourselves. And so this modality it's a maverick modality because it's you and it's you and whatever you want to work on. And your soul is the guide. And so it's the ultimate piece of self-sourcing. And the beauty is that you get to exit the matrix. What I channel as a projector, what I understand are the mechanics and energetics of the human experience and how to heal it. So you exit the matrix over and over and over again, because you'll suddenly go like, wait, hang on, why is that a thing here? But it's not, I got to cut the cord and I got to get this out of here. It's like, oh no, you come into a harmonious relationship with your soul and it changes the way that you do literally life.
What I want to come back to as well in your example of the trauma therapist, how she did the healing, yet the other person showed up differently. Can you explain for someone who, because you do a lot of subconscious work, which we haven't even really dove into, but that is what Soul Forward Method is about. So can you tell us more about what is that phenomena as far as like the subconscious and energetics of this work?
Yeah. So we're all down here. we're at a rodeo. We're out here, we're riding bulls,
We're at a
we're just
fair.
doing our thing. We're what? But we have chosen, and this is deep into my work. This is probably it's 7 modules. Soul Forward Method is 7 modules. If you just go in and hunker down, it's 49 days. Everything I say to you about what people say when they come out of it, I didn't know healing like this existed. I didn't know this was possible. That is completely healed. I've been working on that for 14 years in therapy. I've been working on that since my childhood. It's completely done. That's 49 days. So we drop in here and we have soul contracts. And those soul contracts, as soon as as soon as it's a balance, as soon as you do something different, as soon as you change within the subconscious, the nervous system, your emotions, and your energetic field, when we turn off this machine of dense negative energy that you have been holding toward that person, let's just say it's like a parent, right? You're holding this and it's resentment and it's whatever. And consciously you can be like, oh, it's fine. I've totally forgiven them or whatever. Your energy doesn't lie.
Your
Right?
energy
No.
doesn't lie. There should be a hat or something that says
Yeah.
that.
So you have these moments in your life where they're still resonating at the frequency that they had at the time that you experienced them with. And so all of them that match each other, they just hang out in your energetic field. If you have a whole bunch of this toward a particular person in your story and you heal it, it unwires from your nervous system. It is no longer sending out a signal in your energetic field. You've changed your subconscious and your conscious mind about this person, your understanding of why everything that happened. You are just on a different plane of consciousness. So this is an ascension model. A byproduct of doing the healing work is that you ascend in consciousness. You're welcome. But as soon as that's done, when you have a contract with a parent, I mean, whatever they've handed down to you, you're the chosen one. If they didn't heal it, it's on you. And when we go like, well, if they hadn't been like this, then I wouldn't be like this, we're missing the plot. We're missing the plot.
The victimhood, I can't handle it in people. I'm just like, take responsibility. Just do it.
Yeah. And I don't get a lot of victims in my world because they don't come here. They don't come here. But people who are like responsible, they're like, I'm not sleeping on this. Like, I want to get this done because I want it done because I know what's on the other side. So once your side of the contract is like fulfilled, the energetic signature that is the connection between the two of you, it shifts. Like if you're suddenly up here, then that contract shifts over there. It's not always as significant because not everybody has a super significant relationship contract, soul contract with, one of their parents. Generally, we get our curriculum front loaded in life. We get it from our parents and our siblings. I have a lot of clients who come in and they're like, I know this is about my mom, or I know this is about my dad, or I know this is about my husband. I'm like, it's not actually about your husband. It's actually about somebody from your past. And they're like, oh, it's about my brother. Oh, it's about my sister. And I'm like, yes. So we get to discover all of that because anything that is happening right now is the newest iteration of the theme. It's a baton, it's a relay race. So when you don't heal something in your formative years, which we don't leave at 18 being like, wow, this is, we're still walking away from home.
We are little babies. We're babies. We don't know what we're doing. We got to go experience the shit.
Exactly. So we live it out. And that's where there's this midlife. I mean, I've had women come to me in their 20s, their late 20s. And the majority of people, men and women who come to me are in midlife because they've walked far enough away. They've done enough work out there that they're like, I'm still not home, but I'm no longer just like blinders on walking this way. And so they're trying to come back. They're doing the work. They're healing stuff when they can heal it. But they're still not home. That's what happens when they come and work with me. But what shifts in your dynamics in your relationships is that you change as an energetic being. And that's what we are. So when you shift the frequency of your energy because you've healed all this stuff, other people go like, I feel like I took a backpack off. I didn't know I was wearing. I'm like, yeah, because the energy is so dense, it feels like a bowling ball in your field. And we can be like, oh, it's behind me. It's in my past. No, it's not, motherfucker. It is in your energetic field. Like, let's just get it healed and get it out of your field so that you have more capacity to hold what it is that you want. All we have to do, it's not about let's 10x. Let's 10x our energetic field so we can hold more. And I'm like, if you have shit in there, you're going to 10x the shit. So let's stop with the expansion and let's work with the vessel we have right now. Let's go in and find out what can be extracted through healing, not through cord cutting, because the cord is going to reattach. If there's a contract there, the cord is going to reattach.
Interesting. Okay.
We're not in cord cutting, we're in let's heal it and the cord just dissolves. That person will not trigger you. It takes a minute for your nervous system to go like, oh, I healed that. And they're right there. And I used to get triggered and I feel a little bit of activation, but I know exactly what's going on. And then your dynamics and your relationships change. They change because you are fundamentally different.
Oh, that is fascinating. Wow. So in the Soul Forward method, you are working on the subconscious. So in these 7 modules, in these 49 days, is this a series of meditations, visualizations, workbooks? Like, what is
Oh,
your process or framework in the Soul Forward method that supports this type of transformation? Because it seems insane, actually, the amount that you can change within 49 days.
yeah. I I did a talk in January and there was a woman in the talk and she said half the room were soul forward. That's just what we call ourselves. We're soul forward people, like soul led, soul forward, soul accessed, like, whatever. Half the room was soul forward people. And what was funny is they didn't know each other, but they all ended up sitting next to each other because there's a thing. Yeah. And then there were people who were, hadn't come through it yet, but are interested, or they'd never heard of me before. But a woman in the back said, I've been working on this thing since I was 12, in therapy, and I became a therapist. And this just sounds a little too good to be true that you can heal something in an instant. And I said, it sounds too good to be true, right? And she nodded her head. And all of the women who are soul forward went, it sounds too good to be true, but it is. So the way that it works is there's 7 modules and they all build on top of each other. In order to have this kind of healing experience, you have to become the container that can hold it. If I drop you into like module 5 and you don't have a context for what are the healing energetics and mechanics of the human experience, you won't know what just happened. Yes, there will be transactions. There will be things that happen and you'll be like, whoa, what is this? I have people come through and they're like, this is like psychedelics, but there are no psychedelics. So here's what happens. Um, a module will open up and you get, a workbook, like a PDF that's got questions in there for you to capture your journey. And there are lessons. So I teach. One of my gifts is that I'm a teacher and I make really complex concepts very, very easy to understand. I use things like a yellow slide or a Russian nesting doll. Like I use things that we have an immediate reference for them and I make it really, really simple. So I teach and there are, I don't know, 5 to 7 little mini lessons in there on different concepts. And you watch those and what that does is so we're working first with your conscious mind and it allows your conscious mind to expand to understand something it didn't understand before. So we're creating this foundation of this container that you're becoming. They set you up to then go into a hypnosis audio. So these hypnosis audios they were channeled. So they have the mechanics of hypnosis. I'm a master hypnotist. But what I channeled was a way of doing it and a way of organizing it where I was like, oh, this is another level. This is not normal. This is 5-dimensional for 3-dimensional beings. How do we do it? So there's a hypnosis audio, and each one of those is insight-based hypnosis. So it's not a guided meditation where I'm saying, and now you're walking through a glen, and there's a yellow brick road, and now you're in the ocean, and you're finding a treasure box, and it's got a gold, whatever. It's not that. Nobody's going to the same place. What I'm doing is I'm gently relaxing you. So hypnosis is a non-sleep deep rest, an SDR. It is you're just in a it's like the moment right before you fall asleep at night where every muscle is deactivated, you're having your final thought. That's it. That's where we're going. So I take you into that space and then I just ask you questions. And because we are in the subconscious, we are not limited by the confines of the conscious mind or the bodyguard that protects the subconscious. We go past the bodyguard and we're in the playground where everything is possible and where every moment of your life is stored. So you get in there and you're like, this is nuts. Like, what is happening in here? And your inner child has created the wonderland from bubble gum and like sticks because it's only working with what it's got. But you get in there and you're like, oh, I have access. Everything that's in this plane of consciousness is creating my reality. So, okay, let's ask some questions. So I just ask you questions and your soul will guide and your subconscious will, and your inner child and all of your shadow, which is just an element of your inner child, uh, will answer the questions. And what you get is the truth. So in module one, you do this huge life area assessment. It's like looking at the pie graph of your life, all the different major areas of your life, and you just tell yourself the truth about this is how it's going. This needs to be fixed. This isn't going great. What do I do here? It's you. I never know. I never know. That's the beauty. I never know. You never have to open your mouth. These 49 days getting through this whole thing, you never have to open your mouth. You do the hypnosis and then you have an integration period where you're dumping, you're writing everything that came through in that. There's a week before the next module opens so that there is a space for integration because people come in here and they're like, I just want to knock this out in a weekend. And I'm like, yeah, because you're an American. And we're like, I want to get this done quick. Like, can we make it super fast? And I'm like, do you want to hold it? Do you want to be able to hold it so that it's permanent? Or do you just want to like have a quick, like, oh, no, I don't offer it. So the work gets deeper in each module.
Mm.
First, the first three modules are really like you going, let me clear some space here. Let me start to build the foundation so that I can hold the level of what is coming in 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 are when I was training to become a hypnotist, I learned a particular tool inside hypnosis. And when I learned this, I had like my soul flew out of my body, like my soul animated my body. And like I was like standing up. I wanted to slam my hands down on the desk because I was like, are you kidding me? This is what every single person who was doing any kind of personal development or healing work is looking for. Are you joking? Like we're halfway through training this. And now is when you show up with this way to bury the lead. I couldn't believe it. So now that exists and it exists with your soul. It exists with your soul saying like, hey, this is what's actually going on. This is what's happening here. And you go, boop. And then we do deeper work in the next two modules, but you have to become the container that can hold it. And so there's a lot of like, you're watching the lessons, like it takes 2 to 3 hours once a week to get through the entire curriculum with space for you to, there is a prep energetic routine that was created by Angela Goodstein here she's a beyond mastery when it comes to energy medicine healing. And she came in and she soul forward. So she already knew the work and was like, let's create something. So we actually have a protocol that you do. Take 7 minutes of doing particular things to actually bring your nervous system into like complete homeostasis so that you're not. And then the work is so deep. It's so beautiful because you're not working against your nervous system or activations. It takes like 2 to 3 hours to get through the whole thing in a leisurely pace, but that's once a week. That's 7 times you do that.
Mhm.
Then every day in between the modules, you listen to a single like integration module. Sorry, an integration audio. They're like 12 to 16 minutes long. You listen to that at least once a day, and it goes in and it just taps you into the subconscious, and it says basically like, "Hey guys, we're worthy. Everybody get in lines. We are worthy. Remember, we are worthy. Let's find the soul's here. Yep, soul remembers that we're worthy." And then the next one is about like, "Hey, we want you to know where you're headed." Soul is like, "This is where we're headed. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. This is where it is in your nervous system. This is the goal. Like, this is the diamond that is hanging in the sky." And then the next one is all about peace, joy, love, gratitude, like finding that within your body and learning how to manipulate your energy from the highest plane of consciousness, not manipulate with a negative connotation, but like how to take ownership of like your emotional landscape and your energetic frequency at any time. And then we get into the deep work, but it's and every day. So you listen to a little integration audio and you answer a single question.
I love
That's
that. And yeah, and you get to show up every single day to like build a habit and the identity of this new version of yourself, which is beautiful. I think people are consciously aware that they need to build a relationship with themselves to then build relationships with everyone else. So I think people are doing that from the conscious level of that.
Mhm.
And I don't think they're actually consciously working with their soul in this.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
what would you say is so important about actually building that relationship, not only with your capital S self, but with your soul? Or do you think that they're the same when we talk about it?
I think the most important relationship that you could have is the one with your soul. Because when you are like in a three-legged race with your soul who doesn't even have a leg, but when you're in a three-legged race and you're like, okay, we're doing this because I trust you. When you build that kind of trust in your soul, where when the rug gets pulled out from under you and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to be grateful for this. I don't know what is happening. Your soul is the one who's written this in. So your soul hangs the diamond in the sky and your soul slaps you across the face with every trigger you ever have. Every time your button gets pushed, every time it's all by design. It's saying, stop, turn around. This is the thing. This is a pink arrow pointing to this trigger, this relationship, this dynamic. It can't be anymore. Turn around, come home. I want you to understand because your soul came for the lesson. And when you stop and say, like, okay, well, I'm in a classroom. I didn't realize I was in a classroom. What is the theme? What is my textbook in this classroom? What am I meant to learn here? And as soon as you learn it, you literally get up and exit the classroom because there is no teacher. No one is
Mhm.
going to excuse you from the classroom except for yourself. Your soul is going to say, we're done here. But only when you get to leave the backpack and leave with the wisdom. We don't go to school, we don't go to college and then take the fucking books with us. The point of it is to bring it home here. So the soul has come to be a human and have the human experience to get wise, to evolve. And so it's like, I have to keep putting this in front of you so that you will learn it. Because this is why we came, my love. This is why we came. It needs a willing human in order to get on board with learning what it came here to learn. So I think, yes, I think that there is a massive industry around mindset work and, um, you know, like just manifestation and let's let's hack it. Let's hack this. Let's optimize and hack and get over this and like okay, do you have your EFT tapping down? Do you have your breath work? Like what are your tools? We've amassed all these tools to like get through it again, manage through it again instead of just going like, but why does it keep happening and could I just heal it so it doesn't happen anymore? Because there's so much on the other side of the healing. So you cannot mindset your way out of something your soul came here to learn. It will disguise itself. Your soul is so wicked smart. It will disguise the lesson because you keep not learning it. So if you don't learn it in your parental dynamic, right? And then you have a college boyfriend or girlfriend and you don't learn it there and then you don't learn it here. It'll show up at work. It'll show up in your finances. you'll think, oh my gosh, my life is so much better because I have this new relationship and it's so much better than my last relationship. And then over here, there's going to be a dumpster fire in another area, but it's the same theme because it's like your soul's like, okay, okay, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Okay, let's write some other stuff in here because she's not getting it. So we've got to get it in there somehow. We got to trigger her. We got to pull the rug out from under her so that she'll realize that there's a thing here. So you cannot mindset your way out of it. You will get really good at being a human, but the whole point of this entire experience, this freaking badass journey, is for the experiences and what you glean from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that you're talking about embodied wisdom because you're a 6'3", and so you literally have to embody everything that you learn, and this is why your work is so potent is because you did the integration, you did the work, and now you get to share everything that you learned from your innate gifting. I also wanna come back to this idea of managing versus healing
Mhm.
because I think a lot of people think mindset is healing. I've been doing the breath work, I've been doing the mindset stuff. And this is your point, though, the soul forward method, where you're like, you're outsourcing all of these things without insourcing and doing the actual healing, like the layers beneath the consciousness of what you think that you need. So, can we talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, totally. So I think that we have brilliant minds that believe that they're healed. And I think that there is a whisper that says, you're not. And those are the people that go, I've done so much MFing work. How is this still a thing? I'm really good at managing it when it shows up, but I keep having to shapeshift to accommodate. I keep having to, you know, I don't want to do those things anymore. I just don't want to. I just don't want to. It feels like a wet towel around my neck. What I have been shown is that having a conversation, I'm going to activate you in a conversation because that's what I'm here to do. But I can't actually I can't give you the texture of what I'm talking about while you're conscious. So every person that comes into my world goes to one place. And that place is it's a hypnosis audio and a little training that I've created called the two timelines. Because when people come to me and they're like, I know that there's still a thing, and like I know it's an issue in my relationship or with my ex-husband or with this thing or with my mom, with my dad, with my whatever. And I'm like, we can talk about it, but it's a waste of my time.
I love
Sorry, and it's a waste of yours. Like, it's a waste of time for us to sit here and talk about it because I know that you can talk circles around it. I know that you are highly aware of it. I know that your therapist said, well, don't do that anymore or say something when it happens again. But why is it happening in the first place? That's what we want to get to, is the root of it. So, my work, we work with the seed that was planted that created the root, that created whatever it is. That is, it's often the network of weeds that you don't see living underneath the surface of the garden of your life. And you're out there manifesting, I want it to be the Garden of Eden. And you're planting the seeds. You're going, I want an apple tree here, and I want a peach, and I want a pear, and I want this over here, and I want vegetables, and I want all of these things. And that's this conscious mindset like, oh, we're just going to Pollyanna our way through it, and we're just going to believe whatever. When we don't do the work to understand what is in the soil, what is in the soil that will choke out everything that we plant that is not in alignment, it will, because the soul came for what it came for. Yes, it wants you. It also gave you the dream of the fucking Garden of Eden. It gave you the dreams that you have. And it will hang those diamonds in the sky so that you will make your way there. And along the way, it will pull the bottom out from underneath you. It will trigger you. It will push all of your buttons. And you'll say, well, I'm just going to get through it again. Oh, this is so hard. I'm going to get through this trigger. Oh, it just happened again. Oh, pivot, pivot, pivot. I can't seem to, I'm in a circle. In the two timelines, I teach specifically on what if all the healing work that you have done and what if the healing tools that you have are actually keeping you unhealed? Because being able to manage is not being healed. it not happening again and you not having the same response that you've always had, that's healing. The healing that it's possible inside Soul Forward method with the willingness of the human to be like, I'm going to learn how to trust you, soul. I'm going to learn how to trust you through this process. The healing that is possible is complete to the point that I had an incredible abandonment curriculum. I had incredible curriculum around believing that I was a burden until I was 40 years old. So 40 years of curriculum that is so healed that I do not ever feel like a burden. I feel
Mm.
like a fucking gift to you. I can wear that. Like I can wear that. That's embodied. But my abandonment wound is healed. Like I don't have a wound with my mother or my father. I don't have any of that because it's curriculum. And as soon as we stop using the word wound and we start going like, "Oh, what's the story here? What's the curriculum here?" Then we can heal it and it no longer has this like hook. The hooks are out. The hook the hooks are out. So in the two timelines, I talk about that and I say, if you're still triggered, if you still ruminate on things, if you avoid thinking about things or people, if you're still, I unpack the things that people are like, well, I'm healed. Yeah, no, I've done tons of work. And if they're wise enough to be like, have I? Have I done a ton of? I've done a ton. But like, hang on, something ain't stirring the Kool-Aid. And if they're open enough, then they come into the two timelines and I say, hey, like if you answer yes to any of these things, then you've got some unhealed parts in there. And like, wouldn't it be amazing for you to answer no to all of those questions? And then I explain it. And then they go into a hypnosis where there are two timelines. There's the one that they're on with all the healing work that they've done and all the healing tools that they have in their, satchel. This is where you're headed. I don't tell them where they're headed. Their soul and subconscious and themselves it tells them the truth. It says, this is where we go when we keep using these same tools and we're this healed. This is what, because you are an energetic frequency. And if you haven't healed it in your in your energetic field, or if you've gone to a somatic healer or you've gone to an energetics person and you've had them like tidy your shit up, but it was still part of your curriculum, guess what? It's going to come right back in because you're the healer you're looking for.
Mhm.
So they journey on this timeline. And then I bring them back and I say, now I want you to go where your soul wants you to go, which is where you healed all the stuff that keeps you a match to this timeline and manifesting more of what matches what's unhealed because your soul came for a reason. It wants to get the wisdom. And then I say, what if it's healed? And show yourself where your soul wants to be because there's a place that you are meant to be that you have not ever been. And that's the difference between continuing to use conscious based tools and outsourcing to other healers. What if all the healers that you've used suddenly die? But
Sad.
it's so sad. But like if you are dependent, I work in Hollywood, in a different capacity, but I work in Hollywood with A-list celebrities. And I will listen to them talk about, well, I have a therapist, and I love them. And they will defend their therapist. And I'm like, if your therapist has done a good job, you wouldn't need them anymore. So what happens now? I'm like, I'm glad that you have this person, I'm glad that you have this, but I want to point out what happens if they're suddenly in a car accident and unable to be the person that you talk to every Monday at 7 a.m. We
Yeah, there's
are,
a type of like codependence with therapists
yeah,
sometimes.
and we can have that. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have people that we engage with. Most of my clients get fired by their therapist because they come in with more wisdom than their therapist have. And then they send their therapist to me. And I'm like, yes, let's get that therapist healed because then we're going to expedite the process. But where we're at astrologically in human design, we got a massive shift happening in not too short of a time. Where we are is in the threshold space between what we've done and what has not worked. And everything is being dismantled. We are in the threshold between that and where we're headed. And where we're headed is the sixth golden age of Earth.
Mhm.
It is,
Do you want to describe what that is?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know a lot about it. I keep a really clean and clear channel. So I don't listen to podcasts. Like anything that's talking about things that are similar to mine. I don't want to have like a frequency, when it's too close, when you got a hot mic and it's like I keep a really clean channel. But what I know is that in human design, we're shifting to like a different incarnation cross in human design astrology, like for 200 and something years. Like we haven't been in it. We've been like, we're moving to the sleeping phoenix or whatever it is. That's part of this. Astrologically, we are at a reset right now. We are at the beginning of the zodiac. We've done 200 and so many whatever years of this and blah, blah, blah. And now we're in this other thing. Um, and I know very little about the golden age, but it's the sixth one. And it doesn't happen very often. But it is new earth. So what has happened to earth in the way that humanity has gone and the destruction and all of these things, and for humans themselves, for humanity itself, we are moving into something that is so different than what we have known that I can be there. I have gone to the future and I have come here. Like in the last 8 years, I have gone there and I have come back. And I'm like, it feels like peace and joy at the same time.
Oh, think I hope so. That sounds amazing.
But if you're not a match to it, then you can't experience it. And we can't be there with unhealed parts because they do not allow us to resonate at the frequency of peace and joy. So where we're headed is this like, it used to be this homogenization of we're gonna train everybody up. We're gonna get everybody through school, and we're gonna teach them what we want them to know. And we're gonna put them in factories, and we're gonna just pump out people that like do everything that we say. Government and all the things, and healthcare, and the way that we did, whatever. I guess that is healthcare. Anyway, the way that everybody gets the same thing. Here's your 2 pills. Here's your pills. Here, that's just what we do. It was never about the individual. And where we're headed right now is like it is about every single individual. What is in alignment for you? What is your human design? What is in alignment for you? How are you meant to navigate? Because when you're in harmony here energetically with your human design, with your astrology, with your soul, I don't get in the weeds with astrology and human design super much because it's all mirroring back to your relationship with your soul.
Which
So
is why I love to start there. I love to start there.
yeah. So if we can be here, then navigating through it, we can check in over here and check in over here and go like, yep, I'm still on track. Boop, 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 boop. But everybody needs to be doing that. But we need to dismantle our mechanics that are running and operating within our subconscious nervous system, emotions, energetic field, and conscious mind and go, this is my way. And for me, my way is the highway. My way is the highway. And I understand that you are a sovereign being down here with your astrology, your human design, your childhood, your everything, your purpose, your power, your mission. Oh my gosh, there's reverence. I'm not going to come in and try to overwhelm you with my, ooh, wait, hang on. It becomes collaboration. It becomes like harmony and coherence. But we can't have coherence within our relationships outside of ourselves if we don't have coherence here. So the new age, the new earth, the golden age, it feels like sovereign. Like it feels like it's a sovereign way of being down here, and everything elevates when you are sovereign.
I wanted to ask you about the business because for
Yeah.
someone who is a maverick, for someone who is a projector, we're not meant to really follow anyone else's frameworks. And I know the
Yes.
person that you're talking about is a projector as well.
Yes. Right. Yes.
So, as someone who is meant to experience, create their own frameworks, how did you get so far away from home in building this foundation and the framework of your business? Especially to bring it back to what you teach and what you share with the world is self sovereignty. That is the
Isn't that
fucking
hilarious?
irony. It's the fucking
It's so
irony of this.
you cannot imagine how many of my clients have been like, Heidi, what are you doing? Like, I cannot tell you how many. And I recently had a client. She flew in from Minneapolis, and she stayed with me for a couple days, and we were talking about all these things that I had done in the business, and she was like, "I knew this was a bad idea, and I wish I would have said something." And I looked at her, I said, "I would have ignored you because it was my sole curriculum." That is the answer, was like, I had to put blinders on to every piece of information that was coming that was like, "You can do this on your own," because there was a part of me that was not yet healed. And that part of me, to tell you exactly what it is, because consciously I was going, "I'm desperate. I want to get this to the world. It needs to be global. I know that it can be. I can translate this into any language I want. I can do it." And it's so powerful. And as soon as it gets huge, then I can do all these other maverick things with it, and I can get it into schools, and people can be doing it before they leave home, and parents can be doing it before they raise their kids. I mean, it's so enormous. I mean, it is an enormous global modality. And to hold that and to know that from my soul, and then have my little puny human be like, "Yeah, we've got this. Yeah, no, I'm going to figure it out on my own." It was like, it was just too much for me to hold. And it went back to these seeds that were planted at 6 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, um, that really stole from me, um, my self sovereignty and my trust in my soul and my intuition. So that theme had been running for, 40 years, and I still had to go heal it where it belonged, where it lived. And what I realized is that every person who has created, let me rephrase, those people that I was looking at that have created, 8-figure businesses, 9-figure businesses, they they figured out what worked for them.
Mm. Mhm.
And I told you that your soul will disguise things, and it disguised something for me in that she's a projector. Ah, she's a projector. She's a projector. She's a projector. Let me work these projectors. Let me see. And it's like they all have a different thing. They all have a different way of building, and they found what worked for them. And they didn't outsource. I mean, they did. I mean, I have a ton of knowledge within me because I did outsource and I learned a ton of stuff. But my biggest investment was probably $25,000. And it was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, probably 5 years ago. And I remember her, and I could literally, I was not ready. I was not ready, but I needed to be in that container. And I remember her just saying, "How do you want to do it?" And I was like, I couldn't hold it yet. I could not hold it yet. And now, because I have been wandering away from home in this particular area of entrepreneurship and business building and infrastructure and strategy and everything, those wounds, I don't like using the word wound, and I'm trying to remove it from my vocabulary, but those experiences that I had at 6 and 8 and 10, where I overrode my intuition because I wanted to outsource to an expert. I wanted to do that because my inner child wanted to feel safe. It wasn't
Mm.
safe for me to do something maverick as a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old. So that translated to being a 40 whatever year old woman. It's the same thing. It's just a bigger stakes. And I'm now at a place where I'm like, "Oh, I've totally got this." Like I created something out of nothing. Soul Forward Method was nothing. It did not exist. And I allowed it to come through me. And I never once thought about outsourcing because I knew it was coming through me. But then when it came to a thing that other people are doing, my unhealed human, my unhealed nervous system was like, "I want to try it. I want to do this thing, and I'm going to try it my way." And I would do it once, I would do it twice. Maybe I was posting 3 times on Instagram in 1 week. And I wanted like immediate evidence that I was doing the right thing. And so I would do it a couple times. I would work with this person for 3 months. And then I'd be like, "Oh, no, it's this person who's got the answer. No, it's this person." So I never had to actually walk it out. So now I've cut everybody out. All the hooks are removed. All the people are leaving. Friday is my assistant's last day. It's me and I have a new assistant who is like, I'm like, nope, we're doing it my way. We're gonna, um, if we can come all the way home and if we start to recognize there's a theme here, there's a limitation, there's a limiting belief, there's an upper limit, there's a ceiling, there's a pattern. Once we realize that, then that's the awareness. Then we go and do the work. And it allows us to go like, well, what is it that my soul is saying? I'm spleen it. I gotta listen. I gotta listen, bro. Like in that moment, I've gotta listen. And spleen has said, like, this is $1 billion business, and I don't care about the money. I care about the level of impact that I am meant to have.
If someone were to really know you, what would they need to know about you?
That I'm a maverick. I have been unconventional since birth. I am not, I do not, I, last week I have, I'm, so as a 6'3", like I continue and I'm of a certain age, so I'm not quite off the roof yet. But I, um, I am in a season personally. The healing is never done, but it changes so powerfully. You are home with your soul. You get through things so quickly, and we heal the macro in Soul Forward Method. We heal the macro. So then suddenly when things come up, it's like you're getting a minor or you're doing a summer school course because you want to touch up on this one area. Last week, I'm in curriculum. I'm in curriculum of my own. And the only way that I serve humanity and operate in my gifts and my mission is through continuing to be a willing participant in whatever's showing up in my life. I'm deeply in love with my life. And there's always going to be. And then there was this like gash over here in the infrastructure of my business where I'm like, help. And it was like, soul was sitting back going like, Heidi, fuck's sake. Last week, I had multiple experiences where I was like so deep in my curriculum. I was getting water in my mouth because I was in the sea. I was just like getting gulps of water in I was just like, oh my gosh, this is new. I've never been here before. And I'm like, and it's not just for me. And I said to a friend, I was at the movies and there was the Moana trailer, and then Maui, who is played by The Rock, said something. And he was like, I'm not going on a journey with a mere mortal to Moana. And I was like, I looked at my friend who is very like me, and I just said, we're not mortal. And she just goes, no. And I lost it because it's a big deal to be awake and alive and tapped into like your innate gifts and your soul and the power that thing is powerful. So when I look at my life, I've done everything the hard way.
Mm.
Like I just have. And that's that 6'3". Like I came here to do stuff and I'm in territory that I'm like, I never thought I'd be over here. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? And it's like, it's not for me. I have to understand the texture of these different places in order to hold and guide people and be able to, yeah, I got you. I don't flinch when people tell me their story ever. I don't flinch. You could tell me you're an axe murderer and I'd be like, okay, fine. You want to heal that? You want to heal that while you're down here? But I'm really unconventional and I do things that are really maverick. Like my love, Aaron said to me last week, he was like, you're not human. And I am human. But I was like, I'm a maverick. And so we looked up the definition of a maverick because that's the word that comes in. Like I get that word all the time, maverick, maverick, maverick. And we looked up the definition and he was like, it is an unbranded horse or cow on a range. And I was like, that is not what I thought a maverick was, but I will be that. And now I've decided that I'm like a maverick unicorn. Like I'm just different. I'm just different. I'm fully human and I'm fully soul, and it just comes together like this. So I do things that are very off the wall. People look at what I do in my life. My first boyfriend I had at 30 years old, and he is a paraplegic. And I was like, let's get married, and then let's have kids through IVF, and then let's get divorced, and then let me repartner with a man who is 20 years younger than me. Let's do that. People look at my life and they're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, I'm so I'm so here for this. And it's not always easy, but I
Mhm.
will fucking do the work.
Mhm.
I will walk
Yeah,
it.
and it's written all over your human design. It's like you must have embodied experience and you must go through these experience in an integrated way with a depth and an understanding to be able to offer that type of insight for other people, which
Mhm.
is so
Earth.
Hey Heidi, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It's been just so lovely to A, be in your energy and B, hear all of your perspectives on life, on soul, and everything. So, how can people find you in the world? How can they connect with you? And how can they be part of this new methodology?
Oh my gosh. Everything is my name. Find me on Instagram. That's kind of where I do just like my regular jam at Heidi Hazen. My website is www.heidihazen.com. That's where I'm at. I'm going to have a YouTube channel in a hot minute. I'm also going to, I have like 70 essays being loaded up right now on the blog where everything that I've been channeling for the last year and a half is there in written format. That's also on the website. But ultimately, when you find me on my website or on Instagram, the place that you want to go is into the two timelines. It is free and you get to just experience everything that we've been talking about. You get to just hop right in and you get to go on that timeline and you get to show yourself. And it's it's a catalyzing experience. And a lot of people are like, that's a lot. And I'm like, let me hold it with you.
And
And now
that
you're
link will be
aware.
yes, and that link will be in the show notes. I have also done the two timelines, and it was a very profound experience. I can say. And
Yeah,
now that you
yeah.
bring it up again, I'm like, I need to do that again because I'm feeling like I'm at a different threshold
Yes.
and fork in the
That's the
road.
thing.
Mhm.
You are. And
Mm.
that's the thing. Like you did it last summer and now like so much is pivoting and changing and you are continuing to evolve. So yeah, I love using the two timelines as like people, can we do this again? I'm like, do it as many times as you want. Like it's beautiful. It's you tapping into your highest consciousness. So let's go.
Let's go. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yay! Thank you.